The streets are buzzing. Knicks are here. We're here in the playoffs, round one, Atlanta Hawks. It goes down. Lots to break down in this one with the recap. The Knicks finish 53 wins, 29 losses, man, on the 25-26 regular season. But the real games are about to begin. Welcome in to the preview. New York Knicks ATL round one. We'll take you through how it came about. Orlando lost to the Celtics G League squad, right? And of course, we'll bring you up to speed with all the first round matchups as we roll some highlights of the Knicks' recent victory over the Hawks, man. Let's talk about it. What are my keys to the series? What is my prediction? Get your thoughts in the comment section. Replay squad. Hit that like button. Knicks Nation, we here and we're buzzing. That's what we do this for, right? A crazy final day as the Knicks went down to the Hornets, man. They sat everyone, basically, except Deuce McBride, Clarkson. Mikal Bridges started the game so he could keep his Iron Man streak going and then went straight to the bench. But as expected, the Charlotte Hornets took care of business. They played most of their guys, and the Knicks just didn't need to win the game. They did not care about it. Rest everyone. Very sensible decision, and I'm down with it, ladies and gentlemen. But first and foremost, obviously, it was looking like the Knicks were going to face the Raptors, right? That was the most likely scenario. So there was a late twist on the final day, and that is the Orlando Tragic, man, lost to a buzzer beater by Luka Garza, and a G League squad of the Boston Celtics beat Orlando, which meant that the Toronto Raptors were able to climb up, win the tiebreaker. ATL Hawks slid into sixth, and the Knicks get this matchup, right? It's going to be tougher than the Raptors matchup, but overall, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm going to give you my prediction shortly, but we'll talk about the keys to the series, my X factors, and all of that. But look, I think this is the second best scenario that the Knicks could have got. You know, I didn't really want to face Philly, didn't really want to face Orlando. They play a different style. I do think the Hawks will still be, can be a tough opponent on a given night, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat the Knicks in a 7-game series, man. Ultimately, I think it's going to be over in 5, right? I think the Knicks had a really good shot to sweep the Toronto Raptors, but the Hawks are going to be a tougher series. The Hawks have had a long streak at home. The Knicks recently snapped a 13-game win streak for the Hawks playing at home, and that is ultimately going to be why I think the Hawks will win one game. But I think the Knicks will take care of business, not really sweating the matchup too much. Like I said, it is less favorable than the Raptors, but it's the second best scenario, right? And the Knicks have visions of going all the way, baby. They can't be caring about the Hawks, man, on the first round matchup. I think ultimately the Hawks lack experience. No Trae Young, but they're obviously a lot more athletic. They present a challenge because they've got a lot of wings, they've got a lot of size. And the Knicks' keys will obviously have to be controlling the pace, limit turnovers, because the other team's athletic. They're going to get out in transition. So the Knicks got to handle the rock, execute. I think slowing it down to a half-court pace, controlling the half-court game, winning the points in the paint, winning the rebounds, grinding them down. I think that is going to be a big key, fam, in this series. The Knicks obviously won the season series against the Hawks. I think they only played 3 times. The Knicks won 2-1. I think they got better after getting rid of Trae Young. They brought in Kuminga. CJ McCollum they're gonna lean heavily on him. I think for some experience. But look, overall, I think the New York Knicks big guns will be too much. The recent player Brunson and Cat with the pick and roll 2-man game as they spam that down the stretch we see in these highlights. And look, we can do a lot more switching. I think if CJ McCollum's out there, as we see Brunson, take control of that one. And our New York Knicks will have to shoot well, obviously. I think that's been a letdown recently, the Knicks 3-point shooting. Deuce McBride shot 4 of 6 today against the Charlotte Hornets. So we're going to hear from Deuce McBride, hear some quotes as Deuce is starting to get loose, coming back late. We know from the core injury that he had surgery on. But Deuce played well today. Didn't have much help out there. Obviously, the Knicks sat all of their guys. But yeah, we're all here to talk about the ATL matchup. Obviously, the second round, if the Knicks get through, as expected, they'll face the Boston Celtics, who locked up the second seed, fam. They'll await their opponent, which is either going to be Philly or Orlando, to come out of that potential matchup. And then the loser of Philly or Orlando will have to face the winner out of Charlotte or Miami for the rights to face the Detroit Pistons. Right, so Orlando and Philly get double chance. Whoever loses out of that one will have to win over Charlotte or Miami, right? I think Miami might beat Charlotte. I know that might be, I don't know who's favorite. I think the Hornets definitely can win that one. But I do think that most likely Philly, even without Embiid. I think Orlando is just terrible, man. How do you not beat the Celtics G League squad today, man? I'm talking about G League squad, right? Baylor Shireman was the most notable player, right, playing, and a full-strength Orlando Magic could not beat them, right? If they had beat the Celtics today, the Knicks would have got the Raptors, right? But missed opportunity in that regard. But look, we look ahead now, ain't looking back. The Knicks always do it the hard way, and we got a more difficult opponent. It is what it is, but I still think the Knicks win. My prediction, official prediction, I'm going optimistic, right? And as we continue to talk about the keys, I think the Knicks win it in 5. Well, I think the Knicks will win in 5 if they win the first 2 games, right? That is critical, right? The first 2 games are the easiest to steal, right? Which is tricky. You're playing as a favorite. You got to act like it. And the Knicks got to come out and handle their business, fam, in the first 2 games. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot give the Hawks a chance to win one of the first 2 games and take it back to Atlanta to tie it up, right? You have home court advantage. That is what it's all about. The Knicks need to play their best ball in the first 2 games, and 6 p.m. Saturday is when it goes down. Game 1 at Madison Square Garden, right? The Knicks crowd, man, it'll be fired up. It'll be on fire, MSG. It'll be our 6th man, like it always is. But yeah, that is key, winning the first 2 games, and I think the Knicks will win it in 5, right? They'll win 1 game in Atlanta. You win the first 2, and then you get to bring it back at Madison Square Garden for a closeout game in Game 5, right? If there's a way that the Hawks win one of the first 2 games, this thing could go 6 or 7. And that is why I say it's so important, man. The key to the series literally is not giving the Hawks any chance early in the series and winning the first 2 games, man. I might sound like a broken record, but once and for all, man, the Knicks got to play and act like favorites in this one. How's Deuce McBride feeling, man? Deuce McBride's feeling good. He says the main challenge in this matchup that the Knicks will face is Atlanta's team defense, right? Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, fam. He got loose the other night. Jonathan Kuminga, Okongwu, they got some switchability, fam. And Deuce McBride's other quotes, how is he feeling after working his way back? Deuce says, I'm solid. I'm just getting my wind back, dealing through residual pain It's part of the journey, trying to do everything I can to help this team win, right? On OG Anunoby situation, Mike Brown says he's just day to day. So the Knicks got 6 days, basically, 6 days rest. A lot of work, a lot of film, a lot of practice. I mean, they played the Hawks most recently, man. So that you could count that as another blessing, in my opinion. We played the Raptors recently as well, and like I said, I do think that this is the second most favorable matchup, man. How's Mikal Bridges feeling? He says I'm excited for the matchup. Hawks got a lot of talent, really well coached. Now we'll do a lot more content throughout the week. We'll do the breakdown between the coach. Excuse me. We'll do the breakdown between the coaches and other key matchups. But this is obviously my initial reaction to the series and the news. We have the schedule, fam. We'll talk about in a minute what other matchups stand out to me. But 6 p.m. prime Saturday night, man. Great scheduling. We'll be, of course, live post game. Friday night, Saturday night, live post game shows. Pre-record recaps Sunday through to Thursday. We'll hopefully have some guests to speak to. EJ will come through and we'll get his thoughts previewing the series. But yeah, as I've got in the banner below, my thoughts on the keys to the series overall. In this one, it starts with taking care of the rock, like I said. And also, Mitch is the X factor in my opinion, fam. Mitch, has had success against teams who are a lot smaller. Obviously, I don't think ATL have a matchup for Mitch. As you see him there dominating this pick and roll, the open put back, right? Nneka Okongwu presents a different challenge. He can splash the three ball. Jock Landale is their backup big. He's been giving them some solid minutes. I think he's coming back from injury too. He suffered a major injury with Goga Batadze pulling him down off a dirty play. So my official X factor, ladies and gentlemen, is Mitch in this one. Secondary, I think Josh Hart. Man, he's the lightning rod for this team. But look, wings v wings, we match up well. They've got talent. Alexander Walker with Kuminga, Risa Shea, and Jalen Johnson. Right, this is going to be a wings matchup, man. All you can eat wings. But like I said, the Knicks don't want to get into no track meet. Right, this is the playoffs now, baby. We want to slow it down, grind them down, execute in the half court, and better talent will prevail. And Jalen Brunson, we've got the clutch player of the season to take us to victory. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns has been playing really well. But in regards to CJ McCollum, right, they're going to need him with the vet scoring. But over to the Hawks now. What is an X factor for them? I think they're missing experience, like I said. You lose Trae Young, CJ McCollum's experience, but have they been through the battles? So the Hawks really haven't been, a mainstay in the playoffs recently. Johnson's talented. Kuminga, hasn't really been a focal point going deep into the playoffs with the Warriors. They're missing experience. I think Okongwu's a danger man. Can't let him get loose from downtown. Also, another Achilles for the Hawks. We talked about their strengths, getting up and down, trying to play at a faster pace and scoring on the Knicks, and being physical with their wings. We know what they're going to try to do. But another Achilles for the Hawks, in my opinion, is go-to scoring. Like I said, you need proven playoff scoring in the half court when it comes to the playoffs if it's a tight game. If it's a tight game, Nick's going to feel comfortable, right? They've been there, done that, man. We sent Philly packing. We sent Boston packing. We sent Detroit packing last season. Whoever else will send packing. The Knicks can execute late down the stretch. They've got the shooters. They've got the weapons. and they've got the size also. But I think the Hawks are lacking go-to scoring down the stretch. Let me know what you guys think. What are the strengths and the keys to the series? Another strength, though, for the Hawks, they're tough at home. 13-game home winning streak. The Knicks snapped recently, but it went down to the last shot. CJ McCollum hit the heave, but it was too late in his hands at the buzzer. So I do think, the Hawks are going to be tough at home, which is another reason why the Knicks can't lose one of the first two games and let Atlanta bring it back to try to level the series. But look, overall, the Knicks will have plenty of fans. MSG South, man, it's going to be nice. Great atmosphere out there. But yeah, don't let them get into a fast-paced track meet. Slow it down into the half court. So that is a strength. I think the Knicks can execute. Also, our wings matchup. Macau, OG, Hart, and some reserve wings off our bench. I think we've got more than enough to slow Atlanta down, right? Now, some of y'all might think 5-game series is optimistic. I think six at max, 5 or 6, but I'm just choosing to go the optimistic route. I think the Knicks will benefit from the rest. They'll come out strong. They'll come out physical. They'll win the first 2 games, and that is where you smell blood against an inexperienced squad, right? You win the first 2 games, man, you're putting Atlanta under a world of pressure going back to MSG South or going over to MSG South. We see the crowd there, the fans, man, they're going to be chanting, "Let's go Knicks." And yeah, I still don't think Atlanta really know who's their guy. In the clutch, is it going to be CJ McCollum, ball hogging? Is Jalen Johnson going to break out? There's too many question marks, I think, for Atlanta to get the job done. Now, they might have their moments. Like I said, there's a chance the Knicks could get in their own way, and this thing could go 6, but I think it's going to go 5. Another key for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, is home court. Like I said, home court is key. You win the first 2. It's a real 3-6 matchup. You fight to get home court in the first round, and this should be a dog walk, right? A 3-6 matchup. We're the superior team, and going to come out there and act like it. And I think, yeah, the Knicks getting off to a good start is very, very key, right? But last but not least, Jalen Brunson and Cat connection, right? Bottom line is I don't see anyone on Atlanta slowing it down. You see this connection right here, man. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, man, ended up on his caboose trying to get around that pick from Cat. You spam this late in the game, it's a wrap, right? It's going to free everyone up. The Knicks got more talent that will draw double teams as well. I don't see no one on the Hawks that's going to command no double team, man. The Knicks could literally switch everything, or they could guard. They could switch everything and just guard up. Man on man, man to man defense. In this one, keep an eye out for this too. A little wrinkle to keep an eye out. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Brown throws in some zone. Right? What do you got? Dyson Daniels out there. Jalen Johnson, still questionable from 3. Sprinkle in a little bit of zone, get in their heads, and see what plays out. If they want to play Dyson Daniels out there, at least playing zone will prevent the Hawks from using their athleticism, to get to the rack. But look, overall, I think the Knicks could guard 1-on-1, and I do think that they could take care of that matchup, man, and switch everything if they need to as well. But yeah, we'll talk further in the later recaps and episodes coming up. We'll preview the units, the rotations that I think are going to be key, and all of that. But bottom line is, I don't think the Hawks really have the 3-point shooting. Their best shot is to get out on the break, use their athleticism to try to muddy it up and get in the Knicks' way and run the fast break. But look, OG Anunoby, another guy who should have a big series in this one. He stays aggressive, uses his size. I think he can win that matchup at the 4 spot. He's bigger than Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's bigger than other guys, CJ McCollum. I think you'll probably be matched up on Jalen Johnson. If he gets onto a switch, he could, get at Dyson Daniels with his size as well. I'm looking for Mitch as my X factor of this series to get plenty of minutes, man. Almost keep Cat fresh for the next series, right? Obviously, Boston most likely awaits in the second round, fam, and I think Mitch will no doubt be an X factor in that one. One of the best players in the series last season. Mitch is set to have a huge playoffs, especially in the first 2 rounds, right? Let me know how you guys think. I think the Knicks' size with Mitch can really help us dominate this series, man. If Jock Landale or some of their other bigs don't, get back and have enough of an impact, right? It's going to be a Kongwu who's undersized, I think, really for a true 5. He's about, 6'9", 6'10" at max. Mitchell Robinson's going to absolutely feast, man, in that matchup, right? Bottom line is as well, though, 53-29. Congrats to the squad. Congrats to Mike Brown, right? We're fully healthy, barring the small setback with OG, just a tweaked ankle, but he's day-to-day. Deuce is back, looking a lot more like himself. This is where the journey really starts for Mike Brown, man. He's going to be put through the ringer. There's going to be a lot of tests, especially later in the playoffs. Assuming the Knicks advance healthy, Mike Brown has a chance, man, to do something special already in his first season, man. The highest wins in the first season as a New York Knicks coach, 53-29. The Knicks got the depth, they got the squad, they got the talent to go all the way, man. And we're not fearing the Atlanta Hawks, right? Best believe that. On this one, we're buzzing, hitting that like button. Are there any other X factors in this series? Look, Landry, and I do think our bench is going to be super key. Landry, and obviously JC. JC, Deuce off the bench. Yeah, they're going to need to bring the scoring. Landry's had a pretty ordinary last few games, last few weeks. But Clarkson's helped pick the scoring up a little bit. Deuce McBride, like I said, is starting to hit threes as well. So those guys are key off the bench. But also, what could happen is we could see some Sohan or Diawara because the wings, the size, the athleticism of Jalen Johnson, Jonathan Kuminga, Reece Shea, like I said, some of these boys, Nickeil Alexander-Walker as well, meaning that OG and McCall are going to, and Josh Hart are definitely going to be put through the ringer. So we might end up seeing some Mo Diawara or Sohan in this series if, I repeat, if things are going awry, if things are going a little bit south, things are going a little tricky defensively, if we're failing to get enough stops, we could see some athleticism of Mo Diawara in this series, or potentially some small ball Jeremy Sohan. If a Kongu, let's say, gets loose from 3-point land and they're trying to run us out of the gym with Mitch out there, with Cat out there as well, that is where the Knicks need to counter, right? However smaller and quicker and more athletic they want to go, we need to throw our weight around and use our size and absolutely bully them in the paint, right? Where the Knicks win this series, guys, for me, ultimately, is the half-court set. Too much half-court scoring for them and execution. Too many weapons. But offensive rebounding of Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitch, Josh Hart, and some shooting, couple hot nights. Hopefully we see a big Deuce game where he smashes down 7 threes. That would be nice. But we're also going to beat them down on the glass with Mitch, ultimately. And that is where I think the Knicks are going to win this one in 5, fam. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, man. We'll have a new video out coming real soon. And it's New York Knicks over the Atlanta Hawks, in my opinion, round 1. But the NBA got a really, really, really nice matchup. in this one, right? Now, before we get out of here, let's give a quick thought to the rest of the landscape, fam. Like I said, the Pistons, man, they could end up facing. I'm going to predict that the loser is Orlando, and they end up playing the Hornets. The Hornets. Look, the Hornets Miami game. I think that's a coin flip. Like the Hornets. I mean the Magic. I'm not sleeping on them because they got Bam. They got Tyler Hero, HAWKS. They got a lot of scoring still. Norm Powell. But look, the Hornets are the hot team. The thing is, though, the Hornets are going to have to beat Miami, and then they're going to have to beat most likely Orlando, because I do think Philly is probably going to win that series, fam. Philly get the home court. That's a big thing. Look, I'm done giving Orlando any credit, man. They had Jalen Suggs today. They had Desmond Bain. They had Paolo Banchero, and they had Franz Wagner, and they still couldn't beat the Boston Celtics, man, in a truly disaster type game, to lose to Baylor Shireman and the G League Celtics, right? Clearly, Orlando, man, there's a lot of turmoil with Mosley, their coach, out there. And then, so let's say Detroit end up facing most likely the Hornets. I think that'll be clever. That'll be a good series for the Hornets to get through, and I think they can give the Pistons all they can handle. Now, the Celtics, though, I think will end up facing Philly. Right, Embiid's going to be out. Boston will still win that series, but I think, Philly with their other talent, if Paul George can have a couple good games, maybe they could push them 6, possibly, hopefully. And that is another reason why the Knicks need to end their series in 5, fam. The Celtics might end up ending their series in 5, right? Now, the Raptors, who the Knicks hope to face but aren't going to face, now get to face the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is obviously a good matchup. I think the Cavaliers will edge the Raptors, but I think that could go 6 as well. Scotty Barnes, RJ, Brandon Ingram, they might be able to win a couple games in Toronto. The crowds are going to be crazy out there, so that could go 6 as well, right? So yeah, overall, man, I do think that it's going to be Knicks Celtics second round, and I do think it's probably going to be Cleveland and Detroit second round, but there could be some slips along the way, man. Let us know your thoughts. Who is a potential dark horse underdog? Is it the Charlotte Hornets? Is it Philadelphia, right? They might be better without Embiid in terms of the style and how they like to play. But yeah, overall, man, it's New York Knicks take care of business. I'm hyped for game 1, 6 p.m. Saturday night. We'll be live post-game. We've got some more content coming through for the rest of the week, guys. Give us your predictions in the comment section. We here, New York Knicks playoff about to start. We're buzzing. CT out.